loss here at this LAN. So no longer going to be undefeated in this one, but definitely going to need to recover a little bit of momentum right here. There were some strong performances from the guys in State Green in that last game, notably Chessie having an outstanding performance there on Moonquin, and of course the brothers there, Limp, Swindle Melons, everybody was looking good, but what does BMG need to do? Who do they need to shut down going into game 2?
What a hard question, Dave. It's not about shutting down a single player, I don't think, against Stay Green. You got to shut down their strategy. It's about, that's what makes them so strong. They're a team that are all five on the same page. They have a strategy that they're very comfortable running, and Melons makes them run it perfectly. And we talk a lot about the brothers, as you said, and they're normally the players that get the most hype, but Minuts, what a game he had. He played phenomenally, and I gave him the MVP of the last game, and he definitely earned it.
Absolutely. We'll see what jungler he's going to be playing in this game as the draft has started. So let's head on in. Game 2 of the HoN Tour World Finals, Grand Finals. One of these two teams going to be crowned a world champion and walk away with a check for over $50,000. And of course, a very special trophy that's up there on the stage right now. But dang, this one's going to be good, Aiden.
Yeah, and we think we've all been playing with that trophy, or the Doom Ringer that it is. But let's jump into the game. Melons has banned Sir Bensington and Kronos again. He banned that last game. He's been banning those two heroes throughout the entire tournament, and he's been talking about how overpowered these heroes are. And I think we've mentioned enough about them. Hanskin bans Pestilence, and he's been banning Parasite quite a lot as well. Actually going to ban Rhapsody this game. Interesting change. That is a hero that has had such a big impact ever since it got rediscovered, basically. And the support players have reached star status ever since this hero is starting to get picked up.
Absolutely. I was actually on the forums earlier for the submissions for top plays for the World Finals, and like half of the submissions were Rhapsody plays. And I'm just like, there's been a lot of good Rhapsody ultimates here. Yeah. Absolutely. So not going to see that one this time as Hanskin does take it out. Maybe Seal Kid crying a little bit. That would certainly be interesting. But now we're going to be getting into the first hero picks momentarily. And it's going to be a Kraken. So
I love that pick.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that pick from Melons. Limp says it's his favorite hero, and he's been playing it quite amazingly. And I don't know, like you saw that fight at the Congo Pit where Limp single-handedly, as the initiator player, managed to zone out the hard carry of BMG. And that's so big. He's just so on top of that hero, and he loves playing it. And, you know, he said it. He likes trees. Give the man a Kraken, let him like his trees, and let him run that Kraken.
Absolutely. And I mean, Melons is going to go ahead and first pick that one right here. Hanskin had a fantastic game of Torture earlier in BMG versus MRR. Going to go ahead and pick that one up. Also denying the Torture to Z-Freak, another prolific Tort player who's had fantastic games on that one in the past. But by picking up that Torture, they give away nothing about the strategy. He's a hero that's going to be able to make his way into the middle lane, the short lane, wherever he needs to be. Could even be part of a tri-lane or a carry. Nothing given away, and I love that as a pick.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart pick here from Hanskin. And when you remove Rhapsody from the pool, you look for the second best support. That's probably Torture. He's very popular. But the problem with picking support heroes this early is that you give the other team the opportunity to pick whatever heroes they want. And this, to me, as a drafter, this informs insecurity from Hanskin's side. If he knew what Stay Green was picking, he wouldn't be picking that Torture so early. I feel like he would have picked the hard carry, the farming heroes that he really wanted. But yeah, giving away the Drunken Master, I don't know, man. This is shaping up like a good Stay Green draft. They like these strength heroes, and they already got a Chessie hero and a Limp hero. So it's probably going to be a Melons hero, a Z-Freak hero, and a Minuts hero coming out next.
It certainly could, but there's one Minuts hero down, and that's going to be Parasite. So not only are they picking up a strong jungler themselves, they're also sending a little bit of a message to Stay Green that Ophelia is on the board. We dare you to pick it right now because Hanskin will have a very serious time at actually shutting her down. So instead, they go the Tempest route. Not too often we see Ophelia unbanned and unpicked.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Flensmeister of Sync Esports, and he was asking me, like, what do you think about Tempest as a hero? And I'm like, you do realize that's, like, the one hero I played all the time. And he's like, yeah, but what do you think about him in a competitive scene? And I'm like, I think he's still one of the best heroes in the game. I don't know why people ignore him so much and say and feel like Parasite is a much better hero. I personally think Tempest is a much stronger hero than Parasite. And with Minuts playing as well as he did last game, why not give him Tempest again? He played a phenomenal game. and he's on the Tempest again this game. I like these picks from Stay Green. I think they're picking comfort heroes. They're not doing anything new.
Sure.
They're not doing anything drastic. And I hope Hanskin sticks to what they know and doesn't pull out something absolutely crazy.
And well, there's a Magnus, something that we haven't necessarily been seeing outside of this event. Prior to this, he would come in every once in a while, but he's been one of these standout picks that have really started to come in here. And maybe it's coming from the SEA scene. Maybe it's wearing off a little bit. People are seeing the strength of this hero played by superstars like Cheetah X of Neo MRR. But we saw Super KGE playing this one a few games ago, had a strong game against Neo MRR. And we'll see if he's going to be able to have just as strong of a game here against Stay Green on the main stage.
Yeah, they last time actually Stay Green banned that hero out in the second banning stage. And we've been seeing this quite a lot. Whenever one team picks Drunken Master, the other replies with the Magnus pick. This hero has been doing pretty well against Magnuses. The stun doesn't really care about whether he has the untouchable up or not. And I can't really say there's a direct correlation between the hero countering Drunken Master in any way, but generally we have been seeing the Magnus pick up quite a lot. And I think that has a lot to do with the laning phase and the Volcanic Touch and how it functions in lane against the Drunken Master that likes to hug the creep wave and stay up there and just try and hit people back and stagger at them.
Yeah, certainly does have some very good lane matchups on that hero. But now more bans going to be coming out. So the heroes we're not seeing: Moon Queen, Dr. Repulsor, Puppet Master. Melons targeting the heroes that BMG might have wanted to run in that short lane and eliminating 3 of the strongest carries in the scene. On the other side, Hanskin has targeted Bubbles and Warbeast so far, so saying, hey, you're not going to be able to get a hold of these comfort heroes that you might have Chessie play, that Warbeast. Bubbles, Swindelmons plays a fantastic one, and now it's going to be Wretched Hag. So really limiting the options for Swindelmons, as there's already a Kraken there, a Limp hero, Minuts, and of course Drunken Master, that Chessie hero. What is Melons going to play with heroes like Bubbles and Wretched Hag banned out?
I think Slither is the way to go here for him. Either to go for a Slither or something like a Soul Reaper. These are 2 heroes that I feel I was actually expecting Slither to be banned for sure. They're going to pick Empath. They run this dual lane middle a lot. And it was initially started by Sync back in Denial days. They would run Drunken Master and Empath middle quite a lot and even sometimes go long lane with it. It's a very strong dual lane and it has a lot of survivability. So you can place it pretty much anywhere you want to. But I definitely do expect that Slither pick. But I like that he's playing it patiently. He's keeping his options open. He can still go for the Soul Reaper. He can still go for the Demented Shaman. He has a lot of options here, basically. Even that Witch Slayer. We haven't seen it for a while, but I know Melons likes it.
A Demented Shaman, that would be something, but here's something. Bushwhack coming out. And Chessie has been begging Stay Green to pick this one up. Swindelmons has not obliged so far, but Hanskin going to go ahead and do that for his good buddy Fuzi on the other side here, as the Bushwhack will come to bear, and now we get to see just how hard this hero can farm, and of course the prowess that he does display with an ability like Sidestep. Gonna be mobile, going to be able to run people down with that crippling dart, and we'll see just how much effective use BMG can make out of this hero.
Yeah, talk about Southeast Asia affecting BMG and the way they're drafting. I was talking about how MRR have adapted a little bit of Sync's drafting style. BMG are picking up Southeast Asian drafting styles, and they're doing really good with it. They are now running the Bushwhack. They've been running the Magnus quite effectively so far. I am very interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, I most certainly am as well. And when you talk about adapting another team's drafting style, that's great to get outside of your comfort zone. But when you're on the main stage, the grand finals, maybe not the best time to be experimenting here from the guys at BMG. We'll see how much practice they put into heroes like these and just how comfortable they are, or if this could actually throw Stay Green off. Maybe something that they're not prepared to deal with from the Bad Monkeys.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think BMG has been playing this Bushwhack, but they are the kind of team that will just... Wow, I'm very surprised by that pick. But anyways, they are definitely the kind of team that will just pick a hero. They're like, hey, you know what, guys? I'm feeling Bushwhack this game. Is what Fuzi will say to Hanskin. And Hanskin's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. And then he picks it. It's very simple. They don't really... I think when they're drafting, it's a very different atmosphere in their Skype call than it is compared to a lot of other teams. I've hung out with them and I've seen them scrim and I've been sitting behind them, and it's very relaxed. They're not trying to analyze things to bits the same way a lot of other teams do. They draft a lot on feelings. They feel like, hey, I feel this here. I think he's good this game. And Hanskin, he listens. He trusts his team, and I think that's what makes him so strong. They just really trust each other to make the right calls.
It most certainly does, and they're going to get one more call right here. 25 seconds left to make their final decision, and it, well, could be a couple of different things. Most likely going to be a hero for Jonasson fan, unless he's going to be playing this Magnus. But after that Pharaoh pickup, we'll see what Jonas is going to be bringing to bear. They were highlighting a Grinex earlier. He's got about 5 seconds, so we're going to see what it is to complete this BMG squad. It's a Devo, and this could be Super KGE Devo, or it could be the Suicide Devo from Jonasson fan. Which is it?
I don't know, man. I've seen Jonas play some amazing Magnus. So it definitely could be either of these two players. But I want to talk a little bit about that Pharaoh pick from Melons. I think that's a genius pick on his end. And it's going to be the Super KG Devo, it looks like. Or is it? No. Anyways, about that Pharaoh. It's a very smart pick here because what he does is he denies a hero from... oh, wow. Jonas gets a Devo in the end. But he denies Pharaoh from BMG. And by doing so, he makes the Bushwhack a lot more targetable in teamfights. Going up against a hard carry with a Pharaoh can be very difficult if you don't have a ranged carry of your own. And they're sitting on 2 melee carries, so that Pharaoh pick really makes a lot of sense to me. I like that from Swindle.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a really strong one, but even though he picks that one up, they still want to go with Devo on the other side. A hero that is maybe perhaps a little bit countered by the Pharaoh. Somebody that's not afraid to get in your face, dish the damage right back. So if any of those heroes do match up against one another, it's going to be a really interesting laning situation. But speaking of interesting situations, the hero situation and the players. Super KGE, known as perhaps the best Devo in the world, brought this hero onto the competitive scene, but lately they've been rotating toward Devo being played by Jonasson fan in the suicide lane or a long lane dual lane. And check out that rocket. That was impressive. Getting the scouting information they were looking for. Not only are they going to see heroes, but I'm sure they were clicking those heroes furiously, checking the items, seeing what's available and what they now have to work against.
Yeah, definitely. I'm almost positive Swindlemel's is following that rocket with the screen to find something to click on. And he's going to notice that there's no pooled region on Jonas. And this should be an indication that, hey, you know what? Jonas might not be alone in that long lane. And that's what I'm thinking right now. We see them putting Chesley here in between the bottom and the middle lane. Limp is actually positioning himself for middle. So it looks like it's going to be the Kraken middle, Drunken Master short lane. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with this or not. But judging by the way these heroes are moving, it's going to be the long lane, tri lane. And they're only got a dual lane to match against that with the Tempest in the jungle. In the opposing jungle, sorry.
It's certainly going to be difficult, and Parasite is heading on down here with the boots. So look for him to get involved nice and early, trying to set up kills for his team. And Torture or Devo is certainly one of these combinations that is going to be able to put out tons and tons of damage. A hook lands or a rot connects, and you are almost certainly a dead hero. But Empath perhaps one of the better heroes at escaping. Because of that wall, because of the Essence Link, buying her more time, and of course Drunken Master with that mobility, this might actually shape up a little bit better than you would expect.
Yeah, it's a very interesting player from Z-Freak. He blocks one of his own camps with a counter ward, and this counter ward is actually in range of the ward that Sealkid has placed at the rune, so if he does choose to move over there, he's going to be able to counter that as well. But this forces Minus in a 1v1 jungle situation, and this is not something that happens a lot. When I'm on Concast, I like to talk about how important it is what support hero you have to match up with your jungler, because it's going to be a battle between the supports and the junglers together. As a nice wall from Z-Freak is going to drop a little bit of harassment on Torturer. But yeah, it looks like Minus is getting away here, and if he's able to get level 4 on that Tempest, he's going to have a fantastic time against the Parasite.
Yeah, unfortunately a little bit of a missed micro looked like right there with his elemental minions. Might be slowing that down a little bit more than he'd like, but right now, a Skeleton King's actually going to come over, going to interrupt a mana potion at minimum. Well, actually, Hanskin going to get credit for 2, 3 maybe on those elementals, but no, a nice deny coming in. So the Jungle Wars have definitely started there.
Sloppy player there for Minus, missing one of the denies. But yeah, it definitely is. And I think Tempest has the advantage in this jungle if he's able to stay there and not be harassed out by the Bushwhack.
Bottom lane, I think Empath's going to be in some trouble here, as Torture is going to activate the Impalement, but not finding an area for Devourer to actually get that hook. They're not going to actually put any additional pressure on.
Yeah, no, back to the top lane though. Fuzi, realizing that Tempest is in his jungle, is making a very smart decision here of pushing out the lane. And what that will mean is that he has access to the fog of war that is in the jungle here, and he can rotate to either side, and that's going to force Tempest to be very scared. And Minot's respecting that, rotates back to his own jungle. He has a counter ward purchased already, so he is going to be able to open at least one of his spawns.
Yeah, might even need to wait for his own counter ward to despawn here to get access to one of those. And Magnus versus Kraken here in the middle lane. Super KG has definitely been putting out the harassment. We'll actually blow up the damage charts here. 23% of the damage in the game. Top damage dealer in the game so far is Super KG.
Hanskin's in trouble. Hanskin's in deep trouble down in the jungle.
Definitely in some trouble as Kraken is looking to close the distance. Magma's going to go ahead and get the stun though, and it is going to save his good buddy Hanskin. He wasn't really in too much danger from dying after he got a good juke and avoided Tempest.
Yeah, that was a beautiful stun there from Magnus. I actually did not know that you can cancel the Kraken charge by stunning him during the charge. That's an interesting mechanic that could come into play later on in the game.
It very well could. Depends on how fast Super KGE's reflexes are, but I'll tell you firsthand, they're pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick indeed. So back into the middle lane. KGE looks like he's actually in a pretty good spot here. Kraken at 16-1, whereas KGE at 20-1. And of course, Kraken being forced to use a lot more of his regen. But bottom lane, it looks like Drunken Master going to be in a lot of trouble here. The impalements are going to be going off. Devo's getting the rot on. Drunken Master is going to go down. Now it's going to be Empath looking for some kind of a counter kill, and Tempest is going to be coming on in as well. But now they're looking to turn this one on to Empath once more. The hook connects, and Parasite gets the leech in there as well. And a big misplay from Minuts. He misses a kill on a 10% HP Parasite. Devour running away with boots as well, and Stay Green comes out of that exchange empty-handed after giving up 2 kills.
I actually do believe he did not have the attack range on the Parasite there, as he had boots and hugged the right side of the trees. But he did have the stun up, and he could have probably used that on the Devourer to secure a kill together with the Ferro Rocket that was incoming. So definitely a misplay there from him, choosing to use Elementals, trying to get that Parasite kill, not finding the range though. But yeah, the interesting things that are going to happen in this game are definitely going to be down in the bottom lane. Is if the Drunken Master is going to be able to take off, and if Devo is not, that's going to be really, really rough for BMG. Because when you pick a Devourer, you pick it to win the lane. And if you're not able to do that, it's going to be a big struggle. But right now, it's looking pretty good for them. They got 2 kills. Now Parasite's going to get some more gold in the jungle. He's going to be able to sustain himself as soon as he buys that Blood Chalice. So important kills. They needed those. They were on a timer, and they managed to get the kills before they were running out of mana and regen on their heroes.
Absolutely, very important. So they take a trip to town to get that mana and regen back. But now perhaps the biggest disparity on the map is up here in the top lane. Bushwhack has been farming pretty dang well, sitting at 331 gold per minute. You talked about him pushing his lane out a little bit earlier. He's also doing a good job of denying farm to Pharaoh. Currently 1 level up as opposed to the suicide, but bottom lane, Devo's in some trouble. Empath was maybe a little bit out of position right there. Z-Freak was not on the same page as the Drunken Master, who was going in for some damage, and now Devo is falling back, gonna drop a hook here, but around the backside, Parasite and Torture were looking to come on in. Maybe Jonas going a little bit too early there.
Yeah, Z-Freak has a nice counter ward down here, spotting out Steelkid's ward, and this is a big deal. Actually, he's gonna be TPing up to the top lane, I do believe. Yeah, it's a tier 2 tower at top. Pharaoh is level 6. They're going to go for a kill attempt on Bushwhack. I'm not sure if its sidestep actually brings him out of the mummy walls or not, but we'll see shortly.
We will indeed see. There's the Wrath of Pharaoh going off the mummy walls and a sidestep right on over. So I wasn't sure, and neither were you. Meanwhile, in the bottom river, it looks like Tempest being taken out here by Magnus. And so last game we saw very big game out of Minuts. So far in this one, missed a kill, hasn't been able to farm the greatest, and gives up an early death himself. It's a rough start for Minuts.
Yeah, it definitely is. And BMG, they're doing what they do best. And this is what they did very well against MRR in the last game, where they roam a lot. But look at Limp here in the middle lane. He's sitting with an Invisor, and he's looking for that opportunity to go. Ferro Rocket connects. He's just looking for the angle. He can't find it yet. Is he going to find it? He likes trees, but he's probably going to have to charge him into the cliff here if he wants to go. But no, doesn't look like it's going to happen just quite yet. There we go.
Just kidding.
Oh, the
Magnus
reaction.
Just stuns right on out of there. We were talking about Super KGE's reactions. I had to have some fast ones to get the camera back, and Super KGE's even faster as he lava surges out of the Kraken ultimate, which would have put him in a pretty bad position. Now Parasite also in a bad spot as Torture is coming on over, but maybe Seal Kid getting a little bit too aggressive.
They're so
just
afraid of
aggressive
Steel Kid.
enough.
I've been noticing this quite a lot. Steel Kid is kind of a support player, and I talked to BMG about it. He will often be the bait for this team. He'll often be the first guy in that just dies, and then his entire team cleans up the team fight. So when they see Steel Kid, even though he was alone in this situation running in, they start backing up. They're afraid. They're not going to deal with that. But Limp in the middle lane, getting caught here by the guard. Nice dodge on the hook. Probably not going to make the biggest difference in the end, as he is going to be
look
caught
like
down.
it as 4 players are here. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Bushwhack is going to go down. So an important player from each side is going to drop, but staying green with 3 players up there picking off the enemy carry, getting the better end of the exchange.
Oh yeah, for sure. The hard carry in Bushwhack needs that early farm, and he's going to need space. And as soon as they get levels and farm on these heroes on SG sides, expect a lot of movement to happen, expect a lot of early group ups. They have a lot of strength heroes, and the best way to utilize this is to start pushing before negative armor really comes into the game. Because strength heroes have a lot of HP, but normally very low armor. And they do good against magic damage. So early game, which is very dominant by magic damage normally because heroes rely on their abilities to output damage. So expect team fights from SG. That's what they should be doing right now. Re-ithering up as soon as they get maybe the Vanguard on Kraken and the next item on Pharaoh.
That's certainly going to be an opportunity to go ahead and get those team fights going. But right now, they're just looking for the farm, get those items that you were talking about. On the other side, you got Magnus still holding down the middle lane. He has been farming exceptionally well. 372 gold per minute after involvement in 2 kills and picking up both of those kills. Super KGE's on par for something like a 12-13 minute portal key, which would be able to set up beautiful initiations and counter initiations for those team fights that you were talking about. About to be a fight here in the bottom river as Steel Kid is looking for a counter ward. Kraken is here though, and will they actually go for the initiations? Actually on Devo on the bottom lane as he's surrounded by 4 players, and Jonas Fan will go down for the first time.
Yeah, that's an important kill. As I talked about Devour, he needs a good start. He needs to take off to really be useful. He's only sitting at 240 GPM. Even though they were doing great in that lane, he wasn't really farming. He was running around a lot trying to shut down Minots. And sure they have, but Tempest is one of those heroes that recovers very well.
Oh, top lane, Swindle Melons gonna turn it around and gets a massive kill on Fuzi. Fuzi sidestepped in to drop a crippling dart, looking for the harassment. And Swindlemon says, "You don't man up on me, I man up on you." Hits the Wrath of the Pharaoh with the Hellfire activated, and the Torment, of course, going to finish him off.
Yeah, and Jonas right now going to land a huge hook on Swindlemon. As we're praising him, has a double damage. You're going to stay on him. Tries to get away with the Hellfire, but it's not going to be enough. Jonas securing a kill on Swindle. Very important there, as Melons was going to have a lot of time to free farm here before Fuzi could get back into the lane. And actually, I had the pleasure of talking to both Jesse and Fuzi. Initiation to mid happening at the same time.
Yeah, there's going to be the chain reaction coming in. Empath, this could be the first one going down here. But a nice Kraken ultimate is going to be able to slow Magnus. A miss on the charge, though, means that Limp is now the one that's in trouble. The ultimate being activated, but a big misplay from Super KGE as Limp says, "What's that? Don't charge that in front of me." Smacks him down for the kill. Jonas Van comes in with the hook to finish off the big guy. And it ends up being a 1-for-2, still favoring BMG. But what was Super KGE thinking?
I don't know, man. Maybe he thought there was a stun coming in from his team, but there was nothing of the sort anywhere nearby. But yeah, top lane, Fuzi's been struggling. And I actually had the pleasure to talk to both of him and Jesse. And they were, it felt, you could feel the rivalry. They were flaming each other properly. And actually, let's take a look at that replay. Kraken here gets caught by the double stun from Magnus. They start focusing Empath, and he gets a lifelink on. This is really important. Unfortunately, though, Z-Freak is stunned too much. He gets the stun off before he dies. And that, I think Limp believed that the stun was going to hit, and that's why he charged towards the wall there. But just a big misplay there. Could have just kept running away. Would have been completely safe. In the end, Limp goes for the juke, but it's not enough.
It's not enough indeed as Jonas Van comes in with the hook. Gets another hook right there on the live screen. But it's not going to be close enough. In the end, BMG will just have to settle for a little bit of a tower push. Pressuring this one and starting to chip away, but they see that there are multiple players in that lane. They're not going to be willing to commit to a tower push right now. Just a little bit too much of a vulnerable situation. Instead, they might look toward Kraken in the middle lane, but no, not going to try on him either. He's a pretty dang tanky mess at 1200 HP currently.
Yeah, and back to talking about strategy a little bit. We got the Tempest actually having a horrible start. I didn't take that into account, but he's having a horrible start. So they need that Astrolabe, and mannering before they're really going to be able to go for the pushes. And Minus is not microing well. Okay, he doesn't save the second one. But yeah, miss microing. They're very untypical Minus. But no, they need the Astrolabe. And once they've got that, they really should look together. Meanwhile, at top lane, TPs are happening. Parasite's going to go on with the empath.
Yeah, they're going to go on empath indeed. Gets the silence with the face hug, but no additional commitment. And Seal Kid coming in, dropping a defensive chain reaction, making sure that nothing else is going to come around. Now in the bottom lane, Super KGE could be in a lot of trouble. Drunken Master going to stagger in, not going to hit the lunge, and instead Super KGE is just going to go ahead and fall back here as Chessie was able to get a little bit of farm. And meanwhile in the middle lane, Minot's able to get... Ooh, that was almost a good hook.
Yeah, Jonas just barely missing that hook there. It would have been a kill on Limp if he caught him, I do believe. Limp is sitting on 1,600 gold. It looks like he's rushing that Blink Dagger once again. And, I mean, he really did put the Portal Key to good use last game. So, if he gets it early on, that is going to give Stay Green an initiation advantage over this BMG team. And it's a good way to deal with Devour. Devour is kind of like that Pharaoh, where he doesn't really need a lot of farm to be effective in terms of initiating. But once you get a counter initiator like Kraken, that Portal Key, it's just going to change its way in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we'll have to see when that Portal Key does come out, probably about the same time as Super KGE's, as they're within about 20 gold of one another currently. So that's certainly going to be pretty big. And Hanskin keeps on running into Z-Freak here, but unfortunately Hanskin hasn't had a great start either. He's sitting on about 400 gold right now, but is he going to be looking for something like a puzzle box or a codex? As ooh, it looks like we could have a big team fight coming in up top, although Swinmonth just scouted out a little bit. I'm not sure these teams are going to commit right now, although Wild Hunts are going to be coming in from the backside. That's actually a Vagabond, a Mana Burn going off here, as well as a chain reaction. Jonas and Fan going to miss, but
oh my god!
Ultimate coming in from Swindle Melons, and Magma's ultimate going to be canceled. That's going to be in favor of the guys in Stay Green. They take down 1 and 2. The Tempest ultimate not only connecting, the Kraken ultimate whiffs as well, but it's still going to be a kill on the Jonas. And now Drunken Master in some trouble on the backside, probably going to die, and yes, he will. But Magnus and Bushwhack able to get out of there, so the guys from BMG making the best out of a bad situation, but it all comes down to Swindlemons with that hook.
What a play from the captain of Stay Green there. That was an amazing hook. He got it between 2 heroes, hits the Magnus and cancels that ultimate track channel. And here we go, back to the replay. Stay Green realizes the after from the middle. Oh no! Actually, Super KG's going to be caught out. So we quickly jump out of that replay back into the game. Yeah, maybe we can get a review of the replay again. That would be amazing if we could.
Yeah.
There we go.
We will go into it one more time.
So yeah, look at this. Limp gets caught initially. They use a Torturer stun, and they use a Devour hook, but that hook from Swindlemels was so important there. Magnus would have gotten a huge ultimate off. And unfortunately, Tempest just barely missing that ultimate on Bushwhack. If he would have caught that, that could have been a completely different fight. A little bit of miscommunication as well with Drunken Master chasing the other 2 heroes.
And actually, back to the live game here, Minuts is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Just kidding. The captain of Staying Green is there for the bait. They're going to probably turn this one around. Oh, Wrath of the Pharaoh going to miss, but it doesn't matter. Limp is here, and Bushwhack likely going to go down. He's got another sidestep in a couple seconds. Hanskin going to go ahead and drop the leech. There's the sidestep trying to get on out of there. The rocket is going to connect. There's a 2-man stun coming in from Magnus on the backside as Tempest will drop. And here comes Jonas, fan. He's going to be playing the clown in this one as he is going to go in, applies the rot, and down goes Kraken. So BMG once again picking up a couple hero kills there as Minot's caught a little bit out of position. He's been having a rough game, but the guys from Stay Green, notably Swindlemons, are right on par.
Yeah, Melons is having a fantastic game. And let's go into that replay and look at what really happened. Nice bait there from Minus, forcing Torturer to run through the minions. And oh, Hanskin timing that perfectly. And look at Fuzi just barely getting away there. A little bit of fog coming into play. And at the end of the day, that's huge. He does get picked off by the rocket with no experience going in the way of Stay Green. And that's a big deal when you're killing the highest level hero on the BMG side. So here Limp is left alone, but back to the live game we go.
Back to the live game indeed as Devo's running around with a little bit low on HP. Empath looking like she might have been able to get something there if she was just a few levels higher or maybe had a little bit in the way of items. But so far, Z-Freak just suffering on Striders, and certainly not an item that he likes to go, but it's generally considered the correct build on an Empath. So.
Yeah, Empath doesn't really put the stats to much use, at least not the health portion that's given from Steam Boots. And the attack speed isn't really going to be used either. So personally, I like to go either Phase Boots or Striders. So going Striders has the benefit of it costs less gold. So you can get something like Lex Talionis much earlier on in the game, which will boost his team even more. But important things to look at now. We got level 11s coming on Pharaoh, as well as Kraken, as well as Drunken Master. Drunken Master's on good way to his Drunken Head. All he needs is a recipe now. But Minot's really struggling here. He needs that Astrolabe for them to really be able to hit their timing. And once they have that Drunken Head, as well as the Astrolabe of Minot, the team fight should be forced by Stay Green. That's the way to play their strategy. Whereas BMG, they really just want to dodge at this point. Dodge and take the fights at their towers. Make sure that Magnus gets that ultimate off, and that's really going to be an important thing in this game, actually. I've had Melons and Super KG talk to each other about hooks and how Melons has been saying, you're never going to land a hook on me at land. And it's kind of a show-off between these two players at the moment, because Swinamel's only job in this game is to make sure that Magnus does not get the ulti off as he did in the last fight. But it's hard. It's going to be really hard.
It absolutely is, but Swinamelons has been performing admirably so far in this game. Now, somebody that is flying a little bit under the radar could be Chessie here on Drunken Master. We're 18 minutes into the game. He's level 11, and he's about to finish up a Shrunken Head. He's actually the top farmer in the game right now, well, just behind Super KGE now, but he's only been involved in 3 kills so far, sitting at 1, 2, and 2. But Chessie, he's bringing home the farm, and of course, next time they get into an engagement here, he's going to be looking like a pretty tanky dude with an Invis rune, and of course, high levels, and the Shrunken Head going to be coming out very soon.
Yeah, look at Super KG's positioning, I was just about to say. He does eventually keep the out, and they're going to dodge the fight. I think that's the right decision, because there was not enough team there to help him out. And he is level 13, he has a level 2 Eruption, so that's a lot of damage if you're able to line it up. And Bushwhack, interestingly enough, choosing to go for the Firebrand, not really fearing Stay Green too much, and isn't really afraid of dying. I would have probably expected the Shrunken Head here from him.
Yeah, not going to be too worried about it at all. Going to have to worry on his positioning as, oh, Wrath the Pharaoh going to connect on the Torture. Seal Kid gets the stun off before he dies. The Impalement is there as well. Hanskin going to go ahead and try to set up a hook, but unfortunately it's going to miss. Devo gonna be taking some damage, but Magnus with a huge ultimate. The Kraken ultimate even bigger as Devo will go down. Stay Green is in pursuit. They're gonna be looking to try to get Magnus right here. He's got a Lava Surge up in just a second. Gonna use that one to try to get on out of here. Bushwhack is kiting as well, and Drunken Master gonna go down. Fuzi bringing home that kill. Once again, a rocket coming in for the captain of Stay Green. Brings that one home, and down goes Magnus. Limp is a Magnus killing machine.
Yeah, and we've been talking about Melons, and Melons is really playing amazingly in this game. He's landing those rockets beautifully. He's getting the kills that he needs. I feel like Stay Green are miscommunicating a little bit in these fights, but he is making up for it by rocket sniping just perfectly. Keeps finding those hero kills, and those are so big for them right now. I think it's the second time he's got a Fuzi on the way back out of the fight.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And let's go ahead and take a look at that team fight once more as you see it opened up by the ultimate here from Swindlemelons. And meanwhile, off screen, Magnus is starting to channel up the ultimate right here as he's going to come on in and start dealing some very serious damage. Going to be able to take out Mr. Tempest without getting anything off whatsoever. But that Kraken ultimate, well placed, and that set up the great pursuit.
Yeah, looking at the fight from now on, you see, here's what I'm talking about, the split. Okay, never mind. But they split up there and don't really chase after the same targets, which really comes to punish them because Chessie dies and they don't get the kill on Magnus. But still, Swinamelons keeps them in the game by continuously placing those rockets beautifully.
All right, now speaking of Chessie here in the bottom lane, he's taking a ton of damage. 3 players there. He does get the Unbreakable off at the perfect time to disjoint and actually nullify the face hug. So very important to happen right there. He survives as a result. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Devo going to be trying to set up a kill, and he does get one on Mineth, but he pays for it as Swindlemelons is there along with his brother Z-Freak, and they're able to make Jonas and Fan pay for that one.
Yeah, Minus is having a struggle of a game, and he's being targeted by BMG. They're not giving him any breathing space, and that's important, as Parasite actually has found a Wild Hunter and is making his way down into the Legion jungle and looking for heroes. He finds Jesse and he finds Limp, and that's going to give him the information that he needs to head over and try and find somebody on the opposing side of the map.
Right now, Swindlemounds, he is really carrying this team, doing quite well for himself. Coming out of the Suicide Lane at 350 gold per minute. He's stacking up on the armor items. Just picked up a barbed armor after the sacrificial stone that he's already had. So really going to start to mitigate a ton of the physical damage that's coming out of the Bushwhack, who is pretty dang underfarmed himself. On the other side, oh nice, going to be going in for the stun right here in Melons. We've been praising him a lot. He's going to get the Wrath of Pharaoh off right here, as well as the Hellfire. Will the Wall of Mummies be enough to set up a kill? Yes, it will. Drunken Master maybe in some trouble himself, as Magnus does have the stun available, and Parasite going to be walking away from the puzzle box smaller. Magnus going to go ahead and blink on in, but stuns out, thinking there's no way that I can actually set up a team kill for myself here. And everybody from BMG going to fall back after a trade of Melons for Torture.
Yeah, and in terms of strategy here, BMG, they're not really executing what they've picked. They've picked a 4-1 lineup where they're supposed to be split pushing and farming, looking for hero kills with their main core and let Fuzi farm. But it's a lot of team fights happening, and I think this favors Stay Green. Stay Green has picked heroes that are great in team fights, and they're coming out on top. But important to keep in mind, BMG, they're still far ahead in experience. They're farming the Ancients much more effectively than SGR, and who's just sitting at level 15. He has a Whispering help now. He is building really greedy. If he gets away with this, and if Stay Green does not start pushing him to the base, that's going to be really good.
Yeah, it most certainly is, but they are starting to make inroads into the jungle. They're on the hunt. They might be able to find Seal Kid, as he's actually straight above them. And here comes Kraken to charge in, and down goes poor little Seal Kid. It's going to be his 5th death of the game. He's been playing well, but he's getting caught out here, and that's definitely going to open up an opportunity for Stay Green to not only clear out the jungle, but maybe to try to get better map control as well.
Yeah, they're going to actually TP up to the top tower, trying to defend that. Magnus just barely making the blink out there. But they see Parasite here in this Hell Cannon, and Swindlemounds could go for the Wall of Mummies on him. He's going to miss. Oh!
He is going to miss, so but here comes Drunken Master. Oh, gets fogged before being able to use another stagger right there for the auto attacks. Parasite is going to be in a ton of trouble, and it's definitely going to be very bad for him, as he will go down.
Yes, Stay Green are getting quite a lot of kills, but they're spending a lot of time running around grouped up. And I think BMG are finally realizing that, you know what? Stay Green are running the Stay Green trade. And they're splitting up and split farming. This is the right way to deal with it. They're making sure that Fuzi's constantly farming. And instead of running there as 5 and just trying to fight, they're making sure to farm themselves. But they need to start playing a little bit more carefully. And because if this continues for a longer time, it's going to work out for Stay Green.
Seal Kid's got to be real careful right here, and it's now going to be up to Swindlemounds missing the Wrath of the Pharaoh, which is not something I expect him to do.
Oh, he's going for the Magnus, but he's going to miss that one. But they do so secure the kill on Torture. They had complete control of that kill. I think he was looking for this other hero.
Yeah, looking forward to trying to get at least one additional right there. But in the meantime, Fuzi has been farming in the enemy jungle, continuing to get as much as he can. And I believe that I just saw him purchase an item there. Somebody purchased a Blessed Orb there. It was actually Magnus. Super KGE looking for the early sheep stick, like we've seen out of Cheetah 1X a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking good for BMG. Honestly, the game felt like it was very Stay Green favored, and it looks like they've been having the momentum lately. But looking at the overall stats and the item progressions, BMG are doing really good here.
Yeah, they're certainly in a pretty decent spot. Once they get additional levels on the puzzle box from Hanskin, he might be able to have a little bit more of an impact. But right now, he's out in the front lines, and he could be in a little bit of trouble if they choose to initiate on him. He's going to go ahead and hop on out of that one. He knows that Super KGE is right behind him if he needs to. KGE, of course, hiding in the trees, looking to channel up an ultimate if there is any kind of prolonged initiation onto his captain.
Yeah, Henson's definitely, this is typical Hanskin play, regardless of what jungle hero he plays. He likes to be the frontline guy. He sits up there and forces the opposing team to go on him, or at least tries to. And it seems like Stay Green are aware Magnus is level 16, so this is a huge ultimate. The only hero with the Drunken Head at the moment is Drunken Master, and look at Jonas's positioning as well. Anywhere they go, They're ready to initiate. BMG are just waiting. Nice rocket from Swindle,
Beautiful
though.
rocket.
Going to give a lot of vision. Oh, but he gets caught!
Big hook coming in. The barbed armor is going to be activated, so it's going to be a lot of damage coming out right here. And Swindlelands will go down. Magma's going to go ahead and get the eruption off in the backfield, but it really wasn't the best. Gets the stun. Minot's going to get the hole onto Parasite. And the beautiful Kraken ultimate coming in. A 3-man stun coming out from Magma. So the hook is there from Devo. Will they be able to get the counter kills? Down goes Kraken. Drunken Master trying to finish off one, and he's going to get him. But Bushwhack turning this one around. Minot's gets the stuns, and it is going to be kills. So well played right there. Swindle Mounds had bought out and was coming back into the team fight. It's the two brothers Friedmans. They're the only ones left standing.
Yeah, what a Kraken ultimate there from Limp. This player and this hero, I think Pestilence might just have to go through the next game, and that Kraken needs to be addressed. I feel like he's doing amazing as a
wow, they're going deep. Seal Kid is going to go down, but at what cost here? Devo going to be coming around the backside, looking to go for a beautiful wall. Now, will Jonas be able to get the hook? Going to push himself forward, misses the hook, and Pharaoh might even be able to turn this one around. No, just going to play it safe. Dropping the wall of mummies, and he'll walk away.
Yeah, Parasite is actually going to TP, and he's still hungry for kills. He's trying to make the chase happen, but it doesn't look like it's going to, as Swindlemelons is going to get away from beautiful team support from his brother.
Absolutely, and you know, those two make a very good combination as Hanskin might get caught out right here. There's of course, Jonas and Fan is here, but now Jonas is in some trouble, takes the Kraken charge, and now going to be inside of the mummy walls with the illusory veil. Down goes Jonas and Fan. The guys from BMG overextending a bit, and now Parasite might be in some trouble if there's a Wrath of Pharaoh coming in. It's up in 5 seconds. He'll hop in a creep, no, but stay green. They got a clear sight set on the middle lane.
Yeah, and Empath actually has an Abyssal Skull as well as Lex Talionis finished up now. Actually, she sold it, but I do believe those are the items she's going to go for. Actually, why is she only sending? Okay, she's only sending out the Abyss. He has Lex Talionis in base, it looks like. But this is really good for Siegfried because he has 3 melee heroes.
Oh, wow. Melon's actually getting caught out right here. BMG is going to be able to take him out, but he traps 2 inside of a mummy wall. Immediately, Torture is going to be taken out, but the more important kill is going to be Bushwhack as the Kraken ultimate locks him down. Super KGE and Hanskin both going to have to retreat out of this situation, but Hanskin set up in a counter initiation position. Look for the buybacks to perhaps come on in here. The only one available is Fuzi though, as here comes Magnus. Fuzi is going to buy back. Devo's actually got his as well. Kraken going to be the first one to fall here. Tempest is definitely in some trouble off to the sides as he is going to go down, and now it's going to be Drunken Master with an empath inside, and Devo looking for the hook. Unfortunately not going to find it. But here comes Magnus. He's got the stun onto 1, onto 2, and Fuzi says, forget it, I don't want the empath. Devour will get her in the background as Swindlemelons is back into the action using his second buyback. And of course, he's got a Wrath of Pharaoh available. Kraken is up as well. And will Stay Green counter initiate? No, they're not going to. So 2 buybacks burnt right there, make it 3 buybacks used, and they're not going to be able to get anything for it.
Yeah, really nice play there for BMG, using that buyback to close the experience and gold gap between the 2 teams. They needed to do that. They needed to win a fight somehow. And this is why it's so important to defend your towers, to keep your towers up until the later stage of the game. This was the only tier 2 tower that they had left, and it played a big difference in this game. Had it not been for that tower, that team fight would not have been possible. So really nicely played. They actually managed to bait out 2 buybacks from Limp as well as Melons as well, which is a big deal because now Melons is out of buybacks. Oh wow, Minus as well. That's 3 buybacks. So
3
really
buybacks,
nice.
And they weren't able to get back into that fight. So BMG definitely setting themselves up in a pretty good situation. Is now you have 2 players on 1 buyback, and Melons is out.
Yes.
That could prove to be extremely important in this game.
Definitely, and especially when you got a hard carry. You got to keep in mind, when there are hard carries in the game, using early game buybacks are more risky because the later the game goes, because of hard carries, the game is probably going to be prolonged more. They're going to try and prolong the game more, and you're going to need those buybacks in the late game.
You absolutely are, but more late game items are going to be coming out. The Sheepstick will be finished on Super KGE very quickly here. Bushwhack going to be looking to finish up a Shrunken Head, I would assume, very quick. And in fact, he was, did he just get something?
No, I think it was the Devourer.
That was Devo.
Yeah, who got the TP delivered.
There you go. Big item indeed.
Yeah, very big item. It might have actually been the ring mail as well. But Fuzi's going to make his way into the Hellborn jungle. I like this play for BMG, and this is very typical of them. And this means that they're confident. Whenever you see BMG run the two-man into the opposing team's jungle, that means that they're confident in the situation that they're in. They have a ward from Seal Kid in their own jungle that is giving them zero information at all. But they're still going for this kind of an aggressive play. So,
once again, HoN might be trapped in a little bit of a bad situation here. He's got the minions out from the puzzle box, but he's still in a pretty bad way. He's speeding out of there. There's the portal key on forward, and he is just running. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they are definitely going to get that tower as Parasite is in the base, buys out on the puzzle box. Did you see that? He was at perfect gold.
Wow. Amazingly played there. He ran away from his team, allowing for them to get the tier 2 tower at bottom as well. And honestly, I don't think Stay Green's going to be able to get too much out of this pickoff. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be a tier 2 tower for a hero kill. And Magnus has finished up a Sheepstick. Fuzi is going to have the Shrunken Head for this fight. And it's looking good for them. I honestly think they're looking pretty good for the next fight. They got the items that they've needed.
Oh, Devo's in a lot of trouble right here.
Oh my God.
Beautiful play coming out of Yonasom fan. Swinamons is set up for the Wrath of the Pharaoh if he wants it, but the game sense exactly.
It's incredible. You won't get this kind of game. Like, it's absolutely absurd. How would he possibly go? Oh! Close hook again. No vision for that one either.
I feel like Swinamons could actually be going on tilt a little bit right here. After those buybacks, he's missed 4 Wrath of the Pharaohs in a row, I believe. He's not playing the same way that he was for the first 20 minutes of this game.
Caster's Curse?
Perhaps.
Yeah, but they're going to make the pub train move up towards the top lane. I do believe they've done some damage to that base tower. Yeah, a little bit, not too much though. But Fuzi's back in base. There's nobody split pushing or counter pushing here. This is where if you're BMG, you want to be out on the lanes, knowing that Stay Green is in their jungle. You want to have Fuzi down at bottom, farming that jungle and farming that lane, and other heroes sitting around middle and pushing that out. So they need to start rotating heroes out towards the lanes and the other places to get more farm.
Well, up top, Stay Green definitely trying to move on forward. Are they in a position where they can actually break the base, though? They're up here so that they can actually take the enemy woods, but there's no real threat of them actually pushing from there.
No, definitely not. They need that token of life to go high ground, especially with melee heroes as well. When you're stacking up a lot of them, as I said, they shine in that early mid game. They shine when the other team is mostly doing magic damage, and it's getting to the point where Fuzi's starting to deal real physical damage, and even the Magnus is going to be hitting pretty hard with that Blink Sheepstick.
Speaking of real physical damage here, Drunken Master, not only with the Shield Breaker level 3, but the Rift Shards level 1 is starting to hit extremely hard. Last time we checked in on Jesse's score, he was 1-2-2. He's improved a little bit since then to 10-4-5. And Staying Green, they're looking to collapse right now. And Super KGE is going to be scouted out by that rocket. But was it enough? There's a Sheepstick coming in. Wrath of the Pharaoh going out as well. Going to go ahead and connect onto 2 of them. Bushwhack into the Kraken ultimate right here. The Shrunken Head not helping out so much. Magma's going to be looking for a 2-man stun here into the fog. Bushwhack is going to be able to turn around with a little bit of damage, but still needs to run. Meanwhile, on the backside, the tree respawn coming into effect there as Tempest is going to go down. Parasite's going to be running away. The minion not going to be enough to get the kill right here, but it will take down Yonasom fan on the backside. Empath looking to try to set something up. Instead, going to be taken out by Bushwhack. Magma's going to be able to get the 2-man stun. The Sheepstick going to be going out there as well. Bushwhack in some trouble. Sidestepping away from the Essence. Like no stun going to be coming out just yet. The kill coming in from the second Wrath of the Pharaoh. But here comes Magnus trying to finish off Drunken Master. It's not going to be enough as Super KG has to get on out of there. Ends up being a 4-for-1 exchange favoring the guys who stay green. Magnus looking like he wants to re-engage, maybe trying to pick off the Empath right here. That would be big and definitely put a little bit of a stop to the momentum. The stun is out, the auto attacks are there. Here's the Sheepstick, gonna need 2 or 3 more autos, and he will not get it. Empath is going to be able to run away, not only preserving her life, but of course the all-important Bound Eye.
Yeah, very important survival there from Empath. And Chesty's actually getting more levels into his Rift Shards. And I don't know if you knew this, but he can actually proc the Rift Shards on his lunge, which already gives him a ton of damage. So he can pretty much one-shot a hero with that if it happens. So let's go to the replay. Let's look at what really happened here. Actually, it's only the Empath being hit down by the Magnus. And that wall was so well timed, right as the last auto attack was going off.
Yeah,
and he
and
has
her
to be able to
HP
survive.
was absolutely insanely low. And Z-Freak once again coming in the clutch, and I feel like, well, as usual, support players, they tend to not get so much of the credit here, but Z-Freak has been on point. Wards, counter wards, and everything else, but not only that, 4, 4, and 17. An impressive stat line for a Grand Finals match on a support player.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, I've not been paying a lot of attention to the supports because there's just so much going on. And just talking about the strategy and how these teams are positioning themselves in fights, I mean, Z-Freak is doing an amazing job, obviously. He's level 17 already compared to level 11 on the Torturer. And just compare the items. He's called the best support player in the world for a reason. He does an amazing job on that. And he definitely is a big part of why Stay Green are getting these good fights and why they keep finding these good opportunities, because that's what wording sets up. It really sets up the fights. It allows Swindle to make the decisions that he wants to make, and it gives him the information that he needs to make those decisions.
Absolutely, and the decision right now is to actually not go back toward Kongor.
Oh.
They're instead going to engage here as Arasta Pharaoh is going to connect on Jonas and Fan. Empath going to be sheeped out right there, and Minut's in the middle of it all. Looks like he will probably go down here. Kraken ultimate onto 2. Devo and Bushwhack trapped inside. They're both going to go down. Stay Green is going hard as they take out Parasite as well, and wow, they are just absolutely dominating in this match.
Yeah, the superior lockdown provided from Kraken together with the Mummy Walls from Pharaoh is doing so much work. I feel like Limp's patience with that ulti is amazing. He always seems to get the perfect ultimates off in the team fights. And I just really don't know what to say. Chessie playing so well. So is Swindle, so is Limp. And it just looks like BMG are not performing at the level they were before. And let's take a look at that fight. Nice hook from Jonas, but the fast Shrunken Head pop from Minus keeps him alive. He gets his spells off and forces them to chase him for a little while. But look at that charge. Both heroes into the trees. And with the Mummy Walls, as well as the Pharaoh inside of it, they are securing those 2 kills easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Parasite being taken out by the massive damage of Drunken Master there at the end. But while we were taking a look at that, Kongor goes down. Token of life onto the Drunken Master, who's not only mobile, not only tanky, but dealing massive amounts of damage, and now he's got a second life. So Chessie, with nothing to fear, going to be able to be reckless in these fights and just put out maximum amounts of damage. Super KGE in that last team fight had to use his sheepstick on an empath. Wasn't able to lock down one of the really important heroes there, and it just didn't look great from BMG.
No, it certainly hasn't been looking great, but I think that this is more so Stay Green playing amazingly than it is BMG playing poorly, because they're trying to do what they can, and
sure.
I just feel like the item progression isn't happening for them. Bushwhack is not farming fast enough. He's not finding the opportunities to go into the enemy jungle. I don't know if it's lack of information of what's actually going on, but I just haven't seen him in the enemy jungle nearly enough. He needs to be down there farming as much as he possibly can. He has a word there from Sealkid that shows the jungle pretty well. So I don't know if it's just Fuzi making the wrong decisions or if it's something that the team is doing together.
Yeah, it's something that Fuzi is, well, not really wanting to commit to right now. And at 366 gold per minute, that's simply not going to cut it when there's 3 players on the opposing squad that are right at that GPM, and of course a 500 gold per minute Drunken Master, who is just absolutely devastatingly big right now. And you got big items being finished up here, like a Hellflower, just 500 gold away on Swinamons. Demonic Breastplate on Kraken. He's got a Shrunken Head coming out soon, and there's just not enough on the other side. Shrunken Head there for Magnus, but nothing but a puzzle box level 3 on Hanskin, as he had a great early game, but middle lane, Raptor Pharaoh coming in, Super KGE going to be taken out. That's the power of the Kraken, and of course, Pharaoh coming in for the help on the cleanup.
Yeah, and Sanitary is actually bought by Chessie right here. He's going to be dropping investments for that, but Swinamons has finished up a Hellflower, and this is huge. This is going to mean that Swinamons is now hitting very hard with that Abyssal Skull aura. He's basically a carry Pharaoh at the moment. He's going to be hitting hard, has that silence effect as well, and look at just Chessie is hitting for 400 and
He is absolutely massacring this tower, and with no buyback here on Super KGE, this is easily a Rax. This could very well be the game they're going to go ahead and make their way into the top tower, and they're going to go ahead and take these down, making the safe play, taking out 2 sets of racks. Meanwhile, the guys from BMG are doing the only thing they can, trading. They're going to try to take down maybe 1 set of racks, as they've got 2 players in the top lane and 1 player here in the bottom lane. But Stay Green, they've already got both sets of racks. It's time to TP home and make sure they don't lose any base buildings.
Yeah, no, good play from Stay Green. I mean, this game really is a result of the early game. We noticed how the Devourer wasn't really able to take off, and Fuzi, even though he had pretty good farm and was able to get away with greedy items, just never was able to become that hard carry threat because he kept dying in those early fights. Swinamels kept sniping him whenever they failed to kill him, and he barely managed to escape.
Sure.
Those rockets were a big deal.
They were a very big deal indeed, and I mean, those are connecting consistently, but what hasn't been have been Jonas and Fan's hooks.
Yeah.
He has had very poor accuracy, unfortunately, with those hooks so far in this game. Sitting at 10, 8, and 7, he's definitely still had an impact, but if he had been able to connect with a few more of those, team fights could have been going a little bit better for them. That additional damage, the positioning, the chaos that it brings in is something that BMG feeds off of, and they haven't been able to get that out of him so far. So we'll see as this game goes on if he's going to be able to do anything about that, or if the guys from Stay Green are just going to keep on rolling with the momentum. Right now, Bushwhack, he needs to finish that Geometer's Bane that he's been working on for some time, because he's just not really hitting that hard.
No, he did pick up the Shrunken Head in between finishing the Geometer's Bane, but at this point, he is simply a carry that relies on farming very fast, who is out-farmed by pretty much everyone.
Jonas and Fan being caught out once more here as Swindlemounds catches him with not only a rocket, but the Wrath of Pharaoh. Oh, the Wall of Mummies pushing Jonas and Fan away as he did use the Tablet of Command. Rocket coming in here. Magnus is going to be able to line up a 4 to 5 man stun if he needs to, but oh, the big lunge, and down goes Jonas. He has no buyback. Stay Green, they're 1 set of racks away from Mega Creeps and a 2-0 lead in this series. They might be able to get that off of this 70-second penalty box for Devo.
Yeah, and Fuzi getting his TP delivered just now. This is going to be a 4 versus 5 team fight against a team with a massive gold lead. There's going to need to be some huge outplays going out from BMG here.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be extremely difficult for them to actually set that up, especially with that shrunken-headed Tempest going to be lying in wait with very limited cancellation options because the Devo's dead. They're going to have to rely on the face hug from Parasite, and he's of course going to be at least some source of lockdown. But here comes Drunken Master, absolutely cleaning up this tower. The Glyph fortification is gone. Here comes Magnus, going to get the eruption onto 1 and 2, but the Wrath of Pharaoh going to be coming in off the backside. Bushwhack trapped inside of the Kraken ultimate. Magnus is already dead. There's the Tempest ultimate, going to be able to lock down Bushwhack, and the rest of BMG being cleaned up as Parasite goes down, and the GG well played are called. Stay Green is animated. They are pumped. They are 1 game away from bringing home their 5th land victory in the HoN Tour World Finals World Championship.
Yeah, I mean, what a game from Chessie and Limp specifically, as well as Melons in the early game. He had probably his best showing at this LAN so far.
Absolutely.
And what a game to bust out that performance in.
Absolutely.
It's in the Grand Finals, the 2nd game. Now they got a 2-0 lead. They couldn't be more comfortable than they are right now.
Huge amounts of momentum being secured by a win in this game. A lot of that comes down to Chessie farming consistently, Limp setting up constantly huge Kraken ultimates, and of course the man himself, Swindlemounds, with fantastic play throughout that game. I would not hesitate to call him the MVP there, with not only the fantastic strategy, but the picture-perfect execution, bringing them home their 2nd win in this game. For BMG, they are in a do-or-die situation. They came into this feeling like they would bring home their first huge win, and what a place to do it at. But now they're 1 game away from being eliminated in 2nd place. What are they going to do?
It's a hard call. I mean, I personally think that, sure, Swindlemounds played amazing, but let's not forget that Limp was following him up on all of his plays, and I think we have to share the MVP of that game. I think they both
I'd be willing
deserve
to say that.
Yeah, Limp played out of his mind. And if I was the captain of BMG, there is no way I'm letting that Kraken through again.
Absolutely not.
I would not put my team through that.
That is Limp. Limp and Kraken are one and the same. And so far, he has been tearing this team apart.
Yeah.
They're going to have to address that.
Have you seen Limp in real life?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
buff.
is the Kraken.
He is crazy buff. I have no doubt that he could spawn a whirlpool at his feet on command once every 160 seconds.
Isn't
But
that long of a cooldown? I don't think so.
I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Game 3 going to be coming up here between Stay Green and BMG, live from Bangkok, Thailand at the HoN Tour Grand Finals. Don't go anywhere.
Baraki CBK here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Still trying to recover and get my voice back. Anyways, joined by Flensmeister here of Sync Esports. Unfortunately, coming off the loss in the semifinals, of course. But the good news is you didn't win the third place match, 1-0 over MRR. So you do finish third place, take home your portion of the prize pool. How you feeling right now, man?
I mean, winning third place match was of course good, but we are still kind of disappointed because we were so close to beating both BMG and SG. So overall, still happy, but a bit disappointed.
Yeah, so, this event, it seems like, exactly, you were so close, obviously, as you mentioned, BMG in the group stages, then Stay Green. I mean, what is the team mentality like right now?
Everyone is actually pretty happy. I'm the one that's most disappointed, so it's actually pretty good.
I mean, being a new team, though, being inexperienced in the sense of a lot of lands like this, obviously BMG and Stay Green, they have been to plenty. They've been far in tournaments and whatnot. You guys are a newly formed team compared to them. Do you think that played a role here?
I don't think it played that big of a role, actually. I think we did play really well on LAN, considering we haven't been to many LANs, so not really, no.
So were you proud of your performance overall, or was it still disappointing the fact that you guys lost?
Yeah, for sure. I think we played well, even though we lost where we could have won, we still played really well on LAN.
All right, well, third place finish, still not too bad, but I know that obviously disappointed and understandable. So what about the grand finals? I know you've been at least watching a little bit. How do you think it's going so far?
I'm actually amazed by how well SG has played. I think they've been drafting really, really well. They've been playing the strategies really, really well. So I don't know, I'm just surprised by how well SG is playing right now.
Yeah, obviously they're up 2-0. Do you think Bad Monkey Gaming has some fighting power left?
Probably. I mean, being down 2 games in the grand finals may get to you, but I don't know. Maybe not.
We'll have to wait and see. Once again, thank you. Any shout-outs, anything you want to say to your fans?
Shout out to my team and shout out to Sync Esports.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We got game number 3 coming up, the grand finals, BMG versus Stay Green. Stay Green up 2-0.